Should I be focused more on the commercial side and the hit from these protests more so than the residential side?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Because I think for the commercial property, because we don't know the bottom, where is the bottom yet. And we see that the revenue from those retails or restaurant, hotel, etc., is still dropping, especially given the high base in the last year. So, moreover, I think after years of price increase, I think the property, commercial property by now, the rental yield is quite low by now. So, I'm quite worried about the price outlook for the commercial property.
Do you expect rents to go down? Do you think landlords will actually try to share the pain a little bit?
Yes, I think the rental is really going down. I think the landlord, they don't want to share the pain for the tenants. But I think, for example, up to a point of time, for example, when the rental contract expire or what, they have no choice but need to lower the rent because the revenue from those operators is declining. So they have no choice but have to cut the rent sooner or later.
Residential transaction volumes have also come down throughout the summer. When it comes to property developers in Hong Kong, do you still think that they're going to release new residential projects for tender in order to boost the housing supply?
Yes, I think so, because I think it's a kind of a fundamental problem or the structural problem for the Hong Kong property. And also, I think I am more optimistic on the residential property because the demand is still there. And the unemployment rate is still low in Hong Kong. So the purchasing power is still there, and there's a limited supply for the Hong Kong residential market as a whole. So I think increasing supply will still be a long-term mission for the Hong Kong government.
Tony, how much further do Hong Kong home prices have to fall?
From now, I think it's another 5 to 10% decline. Because I think it's just to a kind of a correction from the previous height, okay? But I think up to a point when there's more price cuts or bargaining transactions, the purchasing power will coming out because, as I mentioned, the residential demand in Hong Kong is still robust. So up to a point of time, I think the price will stabilize. But it's only after, I think, like kind of a 10% decline from now that the price will start to stabilize.
Tony, here on the mainland, we're looking at some of the major developers which have about $80 billion of short-term debt that they have to see roll over that will be maturing in 2020. How much pressure is that putting on the likes of Evergrande, on the likes of Vanke? Do they have the cash to be able to fund those obligations?
Yeah, from those heavily leveraged developers, I would see their financial position, of course, is very tight. For example, their current ratio is like kind of just slightly above 1 or maybe 1.2, 1.3, something like that. Of course, they still have lots of financing channels available. For example, they can speed up their property sales. They can utilize their offshore financing channel, etc. But I would see they will still be okay for those what we call the large developer or the market leader. Yeah, but on the other hand, I'm more concerned about the so-called the smaller developers or the teeny developer because they only rely on, for example, like the sales from certain projects. So their liquidity will be more concerned going to the next 12 months.